around the corner. I thought I'd seen you.
Morning everyone, it's Jess. Today I wanted to do a video that shows my Monsteras. I was going through my plants in the morning and I realized a lot of them have been eaten by bugs. No, today guys, I wanted to do a video just sharing with everyone my Monsteras because I realized I actually have a lot of Monsteras and I thought it'd be nice to share them with you and just talk a little bit about them. The first one I wanted to share with everyone is my Monstera ADASONII. This was probably the first Monstera I ever purchased. Look at that amazing fenestration. And I got this actually before I got my Monstera DELICIOSA, which I'll show everyone shortly. But the Monstera ADASONII was really the first Monstera I purchased. And I remember looking at this plant and being like, wow, can you imagine how amazing? Can you believe that the leaves on this Monstera are so just fascinating? I remember when I first saw this Monstera, I had never seen a plant like this before and I just thought their leaves, it was the leaves that got me. They've got some of these amazing fenestrations. And I've seen the Monstera ADASONII when they get quite big, their fenestrations, the leaves get bigger and just more impressive, their fenestrations, and I can't wait until that happens. But I can see that this leaf, its new leaf is getting bigger in his older leaves, which should be a good sign. So I actually recently repotted him in this new pot because I wanted to encourage him to grow a little bit more. I put some of his aerial root, I put one of his aerial roots near the soil because I wanted him to become more bushy and hopefully that will encourage more of these amazing leaves, these amazing bigger and bigger leaves. So the Monstera ADASONII was actually my first Monstera and he's doing quite well. He's a little guy. I must admit that I hadn't paid him as much attention as some of my other plants because I find that he can be quite hardy, but having said that, you just want to make sure that he's not too moist or too wet because then he gets a little bit unhappy. Like I think he's I keep him outside, he's probably a little bit unhappy now. You can see that his leaves are starting to yellow a little bit, but yeah guys, my first Monstera that I wanted to show everyone is my Monstera ADASONII. The second Monstera I thought I'd show everyone is my Monstera, I think I'll show it in the order that I got them. The second Monstera I wanted to show everyone is my Monstera SILTEPECANA, and that is this one here. So this is my SILTEPECANA. He has, ever since I got him this, I made this kebab sphagnum moss, he's definitely thrown off a lot more new growth and a lot bigger leaves. Look at that. Look at how big his leaves are. It's definitely getting bigger. So I think I'm going to, I'll show you everyone how long he is now. I was just really attracted to the patterning and ribbing on his leaves. He's got a bit of holes. These are not fenestrations, result of a caterpillar feast. I got this one from a swap actually. So I tend to paint pots, and so one of my Instagram friends, she actually wanted a pot, and so I painted a pot for her and she swapped me a Monstera SILTEPECANA cutting, which is this one here. And I've had him for about maybe 9 months now, and ever since I got him this pole, he's definitely encouraged his leaves to be a lot bigger and a lot more growth. This just goes to show that tending to your plant's natural needs, so in this case the Monstera SILTEPECANA is a vining plant, and so it needs something to vine on or to attach on. Once you give them that, you cater for their needs, they will reward you back with some amazing foliage, because just by touching the pole, and I think that the pole is about 3 months old, he's grown, like this is how much he's grown, and look how big his leaves are. So really try to learn a little bit about your plants and cater for them, because you will be rewarded by some spectacular growth. What I'm going to do with this, I'm actually going to cut him up, and I'm actually going to to do a swap with another one of my Instagram friends because I think she wants the SILTEPECANA. I've heard SILTEPECANAs can come in different forms. I think I've got the blue form because, and this is really by observation, his foliage is quite dark. The second Monstera I wanted to show everyone is my Monstera SILTEPECANA. A good comparison plant to show you after I've showed you my SILTEPECANA is the Monstera SILTEPECANA El Salvador, which is this one right here. Now this is a sibling or a cousin of the SILTEPECANA, and this guy, the El Salvador, the difference with him is his leaves, the foliage on his leaves, and also the size of his leaves tend to be a lot bigger than the SILTEPECANA. And I've recently got into plants with big leaves. The bigger foliage, the more I tend to like them. And so this was I wanted to show everyone this after I showed the SILTEPECANA, just to show you the difference between the foliage. Obviously the SILTEPECANA is very happy right now, so the size of his leaves are a lot bigger than the El Salvador, but the El Salvador is supposed to throw off some big leaves. I got this not too long ago actually. I got this one maybe 2-3 months ago, whereas the SILTEPECANA I've had it for 9 months or so. I also wanted to share everyone that this is my second SILTEPECANA that I got from one of my Instagram friends, actually, the one who I'm actually going to do a swap with. So I had mentioned to her, she had a pop-up store, and I was like, oh, is that an El Salvador? And she's like, yeah. And then I said to her that I really wanted one before I actually got this guy, and so she was so kind to actually gift me this. So I said, I've actually got the SILTEPECANA, and I think she wanted that, so I'm going to chop this one off and give that to her. But yeah guys, these are my two SILTEPECANAs, the bigger one and the baby one. Alright, the next Monstera, oh god, I'm crazy, hang on. Alright, is that better? Okay. The next Monstera I got is the Monstera Pinnatipartia. Monstera Pinnatipartia. Sorry guys, I'm very bad with pronunciation. But it's this little guy right here. This is a recent Monstera I got, and he's a rooted cutting. He's got these amazing embossed leaves. I've got to admit, I think I am a bit worried about him because he lost a new leaf. He lost one of his leaves in transit, and this guy, and his leaf right here is a bit curled, so I think I've got to pay a little bit more attention to him. But he's got some amazing foliage. It looks like alligator skin. I love the embossed detail, but I just have to be a little bit careful with him. I did repot this guy when he arrived, so he's in some new soil, and I did give him a teeny bit of blood and bone, which is a powder form of fertilizer, and I hope that helps him. I might move this guy into the incubation pod inside where I keep some of my more precious plants. So we'll see how he goes. I hope he'll be okay. He's still a little bit curled, but guys, this is my Monstera Pinnatipartia. Sorry. The next Monstera I wanted to show everyone is my Monstera STRANDLEYANA. Unfortunately, he's been a little bit nibbled on because I've kept him outside for the past couple of days. He's not supposed to have fenestrations. Those are not fenestrations, those are bug bites. So I'm going to move him back indoors now because clearly he's a very tasty plant and a lot of bugs outside really like him. He's a rooted cutting, and I've had him for maybe a good 6 months now. I've kept him in this sphagnum moss and this terracotta pot. One thing I've learned about him is I actually should really repot him. He shouldn't be in this sphagnum. I could actually transfer him to soil, which as I think about it, maybe I should. The reason for this is because this guy doesn't like that much moisture. He's a pretty hardy Monstera. I've let this guy dry out before. You know when that happens, when the leaves start to become really floppy and really thin and they start to droop, but once you give him some water he perks back up again. Now I've unfortunately let that happen to him a number of times, which is not good. He's quite a hardy plant. I know he's a little bit more uncommon and he can be a little bit more expensive. I think a cutting This guy was 40 bucks for me. So he is a little bit more pricey. I suppose it's also because of the variegation. Guys, rest assured, if you do have Australiana, it's your first Australiana, and if it's a little bit more uncommon in your area, don't be too worried. I think the key things to keep in mind is this guy doesn't like to be kept too moist. He doesn't need that much humidity compared to some of your other tropical plants. He can do with a little bit less water. If you do forget to water him, don't be too stressed. And yeah guys, this is my Monstera Strandleyana. He's not fenestrated. He's quite a good plant to have. I'm going to move him back indoors, probably to be with my Pinnatium. All right. Oh, the second last Monstera I wanted to show everyone is my Monstera Thai Constellation. Now guys, I know he doesn't look like he's a lot, and he's the most expensive Monstera out of my collection, and I was probably a little bit silly to pay so much for him. He cost me, this one was $100, this Thai Constellation, and I got him in January this year. I know in Australia Thai constellations are becoming more and more common because as nurseries step out their production for this plant, and you're getting some really great variegated Thai constellations with definitely a lot more variegation than this guy. The reason why I got him relatively cheap compared to the other ones out there, although the price is coming down, is because his variegation is not as extreme. He's still a little bit variegated. I must admit, I probably got him when I was being a little bit irresponsible or I was feeling a little bit lonely, but I picked this guy up. Thai constellations, as I said, are becoming a lot more popular in Australia, so if you are really wanting one, I would personally suggest holding out, because I've seen Thai constellations for about $125 at the moment, which are probably 3 times the size of this and probably 100% more variegated. So if you hang on a little bit longer, I'm pretty sure some Thai constellations will become a lot cheaper. I need to show you my Thai constellation. His variegation is not as crazy. He's still not getting any fenestrations because he's a seedling, but I hope he's getting some fenestrations soon as he gets bigger, because then that will be a sign he's becoming a lot happier. One thing to keep in mind with Thai constellations, I appreciate that they are a little bit more rare, but rest assured they're not as delicate as some of your other variegated plants, so don't be too worried about it, because I'm one of those people that when I get a rare plant I become really fixated and nervous about it. Thai constellations, they're a little bit more robust and tolerant, so don't worry too much about them. But I wanted to share everyone my Thai constellation. I got him in the mail. I think I did a rare unboxing of him, so you guys can check that out as well. Hey guys, the last Monstera, my last Monstera that I wanted to show everyone is of course my Monstera DELICIOSA, and I couldn't move him next to the table there because he's a very big, he's a big plant now, so I thought we'll just come close to him here. But this is I actually got this guy quite late in my Monstera collection. I got him maybe about a year ago now, but he's definitely grown a lot. When I first got him, he was a wee little baby, and he had teeny leaves without any of these fenestrations. With Monsteras, particularly with the fenestrated kind, is the more fenestrations they have, so that's these holes, the more separated these leaves are, the happier your plant is. So that is a very good indication of whether or not your plant is happy. So there was a period of time where my Monstera wasn't throwing out any variegation, and his leaves did not have any of these. He wasn't throwing out any fenestrations, and his leaves weren't coming out fenestrated, and the reason for that was because I was letting him dry out so much between watering. Now, Monsteras are a very sturdy and hardy plant. They can be, but that doesn't mean you can just go without, in my case, a week without watering, because he's not going to be happy. And for the longest time he just wasn't throwing out any any good looking leaves. But ever since I moved him into a shadier location, I've been watering him a lot more. He's definitely become a lot happier, because look at this new leaf. I mean, it's got holes coming out now. A care tip I have for everyone, particularly if you've been, you haven't had the best watering schedule for him, is you might need to change his soil, because you've left the soil to dry out so much, and so he's not going to be able to get any nutrient from the soil. So what I did was I also repotted him. I gave him some fresh soil. After I repotted him, I made sure I was really consistent with his watering, and I think that was another tip to help him bounce back. This is my Monstera Deliciosa. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really wanted to get this video up for Monstera Mondays. I know that I'm really behind in my Instagram posts because I haven't been posting for about 2 weeks. I just really need to get back into the swing of things. But I did want to get a video out for Monstera Monday, and so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do have any questions on any of my Monsteras, please let me know. I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you for everyone who's left a comment on my last video. I'm still following up on those comments. I need to reply to them, so thank you so much for your patience. I do need to go back and make sure I reply to everyone's video. But let me know if you have any questions on any of my Monsteras. Of course, I'm more than happy to do a care video on any of them if you guys prefer. But guys, again, take care, particularly in these crazy times. If you're feeling lonely or things are a little bit quiet on your end, really, like, by all means, drop me a message either here on Instagram. I'm really making an effort to reply to everybody quite timely, so I just want to make sure everybody's doing okay. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Monstera Monday video, and have a great week. Bye.